It says we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wealth Builders Plus Mastermind weekly Thursday webinar. Your hosts tonight, myself, Len Mooney, and Bob. You want to say hi, Bob?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
It's going to be a great webinar tonight.
And Rick is on. Hello, Rick. Hello, Ellen. And we've got a couple other people signed up. They're not here yet. But I think we're ready to jump right in and go. Are we ready to go, Bob?
I'm ready, Len.
You have anything you want to talk about before we jump?
I reviewed the material before, and this is excellent. This is excellent content. There's a lot of stuff we've covered before. Just really, whoever watches this, whether they watch it live or they watch the replay, they're going to get a lot of value out of this tonight. I know they are.
I hope so. Let's go live. Let's get the PowerPoint up. I guess before I do that, I have to share my screen. All right. So here's the screen share. I assume you can see the screen share. And
well, right now it's on me.
That's because you're talking and making noise. Okay. I don't know if you realize it or not, but if you make any noise, the screen does bounce back to you sometimes. So can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yep.
All right. So tonight's topic is the core skills of receiving. And before I jump into the presentation, what I want to tell you is that this is probably the most important set of skills that you can build for yourself in your life. Because without what we're going to talk about tonight, you will not be able to achieve your objectives. You won't grow. And I'm not going to talk as fast as I normally talk tonight. I'm going to slow down, and hopefully the material is going to sink in and we'll have time to think about it a little bit. This is going to be a rather short presentation. I'm going to say maybe 30 to 40 minutes. So let's go. And I actually want to start with a quote from Wayne Dyer: "Change your thoughts, change your life." Because I'm going to ask you tonight to take a deep look into yourself, a deep dive, and look inside as to how you feel about you and what are some of the core things that you think about when you picture yourself. I'm going to ask you to find a quiet spot where you can be uninterrupted for approximately 30 to 40 minutes, where you can focus, concentrate, think. So if you have anything you need to do, feed the dog, shut off the phone, shut off Facebook, and give yourself this time, because you deserve it. You're worth it. And I tell you, this information, this concept is critical to your success. This is another Wayne Dyer quote: "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." And what I want to help you do is begin to change the way you look at yourself. Because the story we tell ourselves about ourselves determines whether or not we're ready to make the changes that we want to make in our life. So the fundamental question is, do you see yourself as worthy, unafraid, healthy, wealthy, growing? Or do you see yourself as the negative of all that: unworthy, timid, shy, fat, thin, tall, skinny, educated, uneducated? What do you see when you look inside yourself? How do you feel about yourself? And the important thing that we need to find out and need to understand is we have to put ourselves first. We cannot put ourselves at the back of the line and achieve the success that we want to achieve in our life. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? You got to put yourself first. So there are 5 core skills to receiving, and we're going to talk about them. And why is receiving is important? You want to receive money. You want to receive wealth. You want to receive benefits. You want to receive things from the universe, from other people. And if you don't have the skills to receive, those things won't come. Or if they do come, you won't recognize them. Or if you recognize them, you'll push them away. So the principles behind receiving are timeless. It doesn't matter if you listen to this webinar tonight or 5 years from now. It won't change unless people change. And many people, if you ask people, would they rather give or receive? They'll tell you that they would rather give. Oh, no, I don't want to receive anything. I just want to give. I like to give. And giving is very important. Giving is a skill that makes us feel good. But giving and receiving must be in balance. You can't just give, and give, because soon there'll be nothing left to give. You have to receive first before you can give. And this is a fundamentally important concept, that receiving and giving must be in balance. You can't give everything away, because if you do, then you won't have anything left to give. And how many times does somebody offer us something? Maybe they offer you money. The other night, I gave some people a ride. I picked them up at the airport. And as we were getting out of the car at their house, they offered me some money for gas. Now, many times in the past, I would have turned that money down. I would have said, oh, no, you don't have to pay me anything. You don't owe me anything. It's no problem. I didn't turn it down this time. It's a new attitude. I accepted it. Why? Well, really 2 reasons. Yes, I did burn gas. And so it's fair that they chip in for gas. I gave them several hours of my time to go pick them up at the airport and bring them home. More importantly, why would I deny them the pleasure of giving, of feeling like they contributed to the effort? Have you ever offered somebody something and had them say, oh, no, you don't have to do that, and you felt bad because the person wouldn't accept what you were trying to give them? Think about that. So don't deny the person who is offering the pleasure of giving, because we all enjoy giving. So learn to receive. Now let's dig into the core skills of receiving. Core skill number 1. It's deceptively simple. You might not believe me when I tell you what it is. You might have a negative reaction. You might go, oh God, here he goes. It's deceptively simple. It's love yourself. You have to feel worthy of receiving. You have to be able to put your arms around yourself and feel good about yourself. And this is where we have to dig deep into our thought processes and begin to feel good about ourselves. And we're going to give you some tools tonight to help you feel better about yourself and to help you grow in the loving yourself aspect. But look, many of us were raised in negativity. I certainly was. I was told all my life what I can't do. I was told I'd never amount to anything. And all that stuff has a shelf life. It hangs around. And I can even remember as far back as when I was 4, 5, 6 years old, my mother telling me I was just like my old man, no damn good, never would be. That was her favorite thing to tell me. And many of us have grown up with that sort of, maybe not the same intensity of negativity, but we have to let that stuff go. We have to grow into ourselves and figure out who we are as adults and leave all that childhood programming behind. And that's not so easy to do sometimes. But let me give you an example. If you've ever had children or know people who have children, think about, this is what I want you to really think about yourself. If you have a child, that child can do a lot of really silly stuff. We'll just call it silly. That's what children do. They grow up. They test their boundaries, especially when they're teenagers. They test. And they can drive you to drink. They can drive you crazy. They can make you insane, but nothing they can do will make you stop loving them. You may not like some of the things they do. You may not like some of their actions. You might want to take them and throttle them. You might be tempted to turn them over your knee and paddle them sometimes. But I want you to think of yourself in the same way. Nothing they can do is going to make you stop loving them. You don't have to necessarily approve of everything they do, but that doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you don't approve of their actions. Now, if you can think of yourself in the same way, it's time to give yourself the same kind of love that you would give the most important person in the world, and that's you. And because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to do the things for yourself that you need to do in order to achieve the success you want to achieve. Why would you go out of your way to help somebody you didn't love? Why would you work double time to give things to someone that you didn't love? So the first and most important step in achieving the success in life that you want is to love yourself. Love yourself enough to go out of your way to give yourself the most important things that you can give, to give yourself wealth and health. You know, think of health for a moment. If you love yourself, you're going to want yourself to be healthy. You're going to want to take the time to go to the gym or want to take the effort to find foods that will help you and make you feel better. You're not going to want yourself to be declining as you grow older because you're not taking care of yourself. If you love yourself, you will take care of yourself, just like you would take care of your child. You wouldn't intentionally feed your child poison for dinner. But we do it to ourselves as adults. Why do we do that? So it's time to take a deep look inside and to love yourself. Now, I know many people are uncomfortable with this concept. You're sitting there going, oh my God, he wants me to love myself. You know, that's egotistical. That's narcissistic. You know, people that have an overinflated ego aren't practicing self-love. It's a mask for insecurity. They're not practicing self-love. They are insecure in their own skin. And what we're suggesting you do is learn to make yourself your own intimate partner, to accept yourself, warts and all. I'm not saying don't acknowledge the mistakes you make, but love yourself, forgive yourself, and move on. And again, this is essential to taking the steps we're working on in this program. Without the self-love, you will not achieve the pinnacle of success that you're capable of. You'll hold yourself back because you won't think you're worthy of it. You'll be afraid of it. You'll push it away when it comes. When the universe holds out its hand and offers it to you, you won't recognize it. You'll shove it aside and you'll say, no, not me. That's not for me. That's for other people. But it is for you. It is for you because you are just as worthy as all those other people are. Bob wants to talk to you about writing a letter to yourself.
What I did, I'm getting a lot of, are you getting echo?
You know, I'm not hearing the echo.
Okay, maybe it's okay. The letter that I wrote to myself is just on a sheet of paper, an 8.5 by 11. And it actually took me 2 days to do it, Len. I was doing a lot of reflection, and it was within probably, I think since we started at this mastermind in the beginning of November, and I was doing a lot of reflection, and I just wrote down some of the things that I really was proud about in my own life. Like, what was I proud of? I remember in second grade we had exams. We had exams, and there was like four subjects: math, spelling, whatever else they had. Their writing and history or something like that. So you don't get a real lot of courses in second grade, but during the final exams, I got 100 on each exam. And for me, that was really cool. I remember that I still remember it. Yeah, that's a long time. I wrote that down. I wrote that down on my sheet of paper. I put it inside of a notebook. Then I fill up. It took me 2 days, and I wrote down on both sides. Then I took it out of the notebook and I put it inside of a sheet protector. And I have that with me now, so I have that around with me, and I review it every so often. Like if I'm having a day where I don't really necessarily feel like really up and chipper, which doesn't happen too often because I usually wake up and expressing, thinking about who I'm grateful for. So I usually wake up in a good mood. But if I ever do not feel in a great mood, I just look at that sheet. I look at that, and it reminds me. It pulls me back to a place, several places where it's like, wow, I feel great about this. I'm worthy. I'm good enough. Because like you, Len, I know you had a pretty rough upbringing. And this morning in my video, which I don't usually talk about, but I brought that up too because I was told my whole life that I was a no good, lousy piece of crap my whole life. Pretty much the same thing that you were told. I don't like to talk about that because I don't want to make it reflect bad upon my growing up and parenting and things like that. But a lot of people grow up with situations much worse than what we grew up with, and we can't hold on to that, use it as an excuse. But there's good, even in those bad times, there's times that we can remember, times that we're proud about, things that we've done, that we can go back, and if we write those down, we can remember the good times and focus and have those things that we can draw upon and make us feel better.
No, that's absolutely right. And you and I both read a lot of Wayne Dyer, and Wayne, if you recall, Wayne never met his biological father.
Right.
And he spent many, many years of his life angry, really angry, hostile, not understanding how his father could have abandoned him as an infant.
And he grew up in an orphanage.
Well, he grew up in several orphanages and in foster homes. But Wayne's no longer with us, as we both know. But in Wayne's most latest writings, he has acknowledged his father as the most important person in his life, even though his father was never in his life, because it was from his father that he learned self-reliance. And isn't that amazing? You see, I've had to go back and look at my mother and all of her anger, and first forgive her, because she was 20 years old when she had me, and it was back in World War II. And her husband was in Los Angeles, and she was in Pittsburgh, and he was womanizing and gambling and drinking, and she was pregnant with me, and they got divorced, and she was ostracized from the Catholic Church, and she went through hell. And I just have to look back on everything she went through, and I can recognize now how she could say, "You're just like your old damn man, old man, never good, no good." And I just had to forgive her. I had to tell her I love her. It wasn't her fault. Because unless we let those things behind, we can't go on with our life.
Yeah, people do the best they do the best they can do with the information that they have. She probably did the very best that she thought that she could possibly do. I'm sure she felt overwhelmed and just totally stressed out with the way things were happening in her life right then. So yeah, you're right, Len. We have to let it go, because if we hold it anger, it's going to be like poison. It's going to poison us and release those chemicals inside of our body. It makes us always feel bad.
And for the audience, the reason we tell you these stories is not because we want you to feel sorry for us, but because we want you to reflect on the negativity that may have happened in your own life. We want you to put yourself in the story. The details may be different. The elements may not be the same, but we want you to reflect back on your childhood, your upbringing, your negativity, any of the bad things that you're still carrying around with you, and find a way to let them go. Find a way to make peace with them. Find a way to see the good in them and begin to move forward with your life. Bob, you ready for the next slide on the write a love letter?
Yeah, and on this sheet right here, it says, yeah, go ahead and make several copies of that love letter, because if you're going to make it, you're going to do some copies. It's only going to cost a couple of extra pennies anyway, and sheet protectors are cheap. I mean, I've got one right here. You can just get some of these things and put them in there. So just you can make several copies in case you lose one. In case you put them in a place where you can see them, where you're going to bump into them. So that's all. It's a very simple, inexpensive way to keep yourself focused on your intentions and make you feel good about remembering why you're worthy.
All right, and here's some more of your ideas, Bob.
Index card. I use these all the time. I've been using these things for a couple of years. You can get 100 of these things for like $1 at the 99-cent store. It's just such an easy way to just write things down, jot some highlights down, your intentions, your thoughts for the day, people you're grateful for. I use these all the time when I shoot my morning videos of the people who I'm grateful for. I remember that, so I can just write them down and then look at, or a memory jogger, or acronyms like I have up here, like the one code, the COD, like what is your code? And I have tons and tons of these acronyms that I'll just sit there in the morning during my reflection, and these acronyms just come to me. And they all have meaning to me. They might not have meaning to anybody else, but it's so easy to come up with a little acronym. Just the first letter means a word. Just means a word for a phrase that you want to remember. It's just an easy way to do that. Like what's my code? Like I know that I am confident. I am outgoing. I'm dynamic. I'm expanding. I'm energetic. I'm enthusiastic. So have little things like that you just remember. It just helps you. It just makes things simpler. What I love to do, I love to create simple strategies and solutions to help improve my life and to help inspire others to help them feel better about their life. So something like that that's easy and simple, doesn't cost any money. It's not like a real high-paying thing. It's just something you can write down on a simple little index card and carry it around with you. I love simple little things like that work, and it works for me.
Cool. I heard that. I hear an echo when I'm talking now.
Okay.
All right. Ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Now we're gonna do something in the next few minutes that's going to help you begin to feel better about yourself. But you got to take it serious. This is the most important part of tonight's presentation, other than learning to love yourself, and that's what we're going to call the anchor behavior. It's a game changer. It's biofeedback. It has its roots in neuropsychology. And here's what it is. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back into your life and to think of a time where you felt really, 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 really good. Think of a peak experience. For me, I remember going to an amusement park as a kid and riding the roller coaster. It was actually a good day. My mother rode the roller coaster with me. She was in a good mood that day. I remember some times when I was snow skiing or water skiing. Many people remember the birth of their first child. A time when you were just elated. You were on top of the world. You couldn't feel better. You couldn't be happier. Take yourself there. Find that time. Find that space. Feel that feeling. Let it well up in you. And now we're going to ask you, once you've brought yourself to that place, to find what we call an anchor behavior, a simple, single movement that you are going to identify with that feel-good state for the rest of your life. Now, if you watch my Morning Coffee with Len videos, you see me say, I intend to be happy today. And you see me actually move my hand up, usually to the camera, and I actually rub my thumb and forefinger together. That is my anchor behavior. We know of a woman whose anchor behavior was to take a little bit of her hair and put it behind her ear. Your anchor behavior can be any small, inconspicuous movement that you want to use. I'm not asking you to do the funky chicken out in public, to make a fool of yourself. I'm not asking you to do something that everyone's going to see you and go, what's he doing? She doing? Just a simple, single little movement that you can do. And what we're going to do is learn to associate that simple, single movement with a feel-good state. We're going to learn to take ourselves back to that state where we felt good. And here's how you're going to do it. Is everybody with me? Bob, does all that make sense?
Makes sense to me, Len.
If you're with me, I hope you're with me. So let's say it again. You're going to find this peak experience that you've had in your life. And there could be more than one of them, but you're not looking for the peak experience. It's just a time. And hopefully there's many times in your life when you were in a really feel-good state. And once you get yourself into that state, you're going to anchor it with a simple, single movement. And you're going to learn over the next month to associate that simple, single movement with that feel-good state. You're going to practice it 25 times a day, minimum. You go, oh my God, 25 times a day, there's only 24 hours in a day. Yeah, well, you're awake. This is about once every 40 or 45 minutes. You're going to practice it. You're going to take yourself to a feel-good state and do your little anchor behavior to where you get to a point where this becomes so ingrained that anytime you want to feel good, you can do your anchor behavior and it will take you to that feel-good state. So you're going to find something that feels really good and associate your anchor behavior. Here's the problem. Most people walk around in the default position of negativity or blasé, and you are learning now how to make a conscious decision to put yourself into a feel-good state. And when you start to restore being happy as your default position, things get better. How long are you going to do this for? For the rest of your life. Okay. Now I hear the objections. My life was so bad, there's nothing good in it. I can't think of anything in the past that was good enough for me to use. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You didn't get here tonight if you don't have good experiences in your past, in your life. You can find something. And the other thing you can find is to get good at noticing things in the present. You go to the grocery store and the clerk is friendly, and you notice that, and you anchor it. You do something nice for somebody, and you feel good about yourself, and you anchor it. So we develop the practice of bringing ourselves into a feel-good state anytime we want to. Once again, this is neuropsychology. It really works. It's biofeedback. It really works. But you've got to practice it. And we're saying for the rest of our 90 days together, and we only have 50 more left, let's try to practice it every day until it becomes second nature. That we notice, when we notice that we're not feeling good, we anchor ourselves back to a good state. Does that make sense, Bob?
Makes sense to me, Len.
Any comments out there?
I've got my anchor behavior, and that's like what I do. I click my fingers, and then I hit the top of my thigh, and I make like a little yes, like a bam. So I have my anchor behavior. I love doing that.
I came off the screen share for a moment. So, to our attendees out there, are there any comments or questions? Put them in the chat. We're going to sit here for a few seconds in the chat. I'm going to repeat. When you see me in the morning do my morning videos, you will see near the end of the video, I say something like, and I intend to be happy today, and I hope you do too. And you'll see my hand come up and my fingers rub together. That is my anchor behavior. And I use it frequently to bring myself back into a feel-good state. I can close my eyes and put myself on a ski slope. I can close my eyes and put myself on a water ski. I can go back to that roller coaster with my mother. I can put myself into a good state anytime I want to. And you can too. Okay. I don't see any other comments. I'm going to go back to the screen share and move on. Okay, you see the screen share, Bob?
Yep.
And moving on. Core skill number 3, meditation. You gotta clear the clutter out of your brain. Find a quiet space and meditate. Now, we'll talk about forms of meditation in a minute. Things aren't a problem. It's our reaction to things that's a problem. And different people find many different ways to clear out their brain, to clear out their thoughts. Some people like to just go for a walk in the woods or listen to mellow music. Some people like to really do meditation, and there's different types of meditation. Some things work better for other people, or some things work people for, easy for me to say. Some things work better for some people than others. One of the things that I do every morning is I have a Tai Chi routine that I use. I'm not going to tell you that Tai Chi always works for me. Sometimes my brain goes off in various directions while I'm doing Tai Chi too. But what we want to do is find a way to let go of the stories that aren't working for you and get yourself into a quiet state so you can hear the stories that are working for you. EFT works for some people. That's tapping. I forget what the EF stands for, but lots of people have sworn by EFT. It's never really worked for me. I've tried it several times. I sort of feel silly sitting there tapping my forehead, but that's okay. But meditation is a good way to clear your mind and to get in touch with your inner self, to get in touch with your higher self, and to get in touch with the direction that your higher self is asking you to go in, and with the hints that's coming from the universe. It really helps to quiet your mind and get in touch. So if you sit down and you try to find a quiet place and you find that your thoughts are like a runaway train, let it run away. That's a quote directly from Larry Hockman. By the way, I forgot to give Larry credit. A lot of the material you're seeing tonight comes from Larry. So we want to just stop resisting. Let things go where they're supposed to. Let them go. Let your mind clear itself out. And the suggestion is, as a daily discipline, to take 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes a day, and try to quiet your mind. And if nothing else works, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You will find that almost all trainers in various types of meditation start you with deep breathing. And you're going to notice in a few minutes when we wrap this all up full circle, that one of the things that we do on our daily, before we get out of bed, is take 5 deep breaths. Well, here's one of the reasons why. Deep breathing helps to quiet your mind. So, find something that works for you. It's not one size fits all. Some people like Tai Chi. Some people like, there's the Wayne Dyer's meditation. There's Brendan Burchard put out a YouTube video recently with a meditation on it. There's lots of different things you can do. And I don't have any one thing to recommend as the best way. The best way is what works for you. Core skill Number 4, intend your day. And this comes back to the things that we've been talking about now since the very beginning of this program. And you're going to see that what we've been giving you to do in daily exercises falls right into the 5 core skills of receiving. At the beginning of the day, address yourself. Good morning, whatever you want to call yourself. Good morning, Len. Good morning, Bob. Good morning. And ask yourself, what do you intend to feel today? Today, I intend to feel. And these are feeling words: abundant, healthy, love, wealthy, love. It's a feeling word. What do you intend to feel? I intend to feel productive. Okay. I intend to feel abundant. I intend to feel healthy. Okay. Now, the second part is, what are you going to do to feel healthy? Well, I'm going to clean the garage, go to the store, pick up the kids at school. Wait. Name the things that you intend to do and ask, are the things that you intend to do in line with how you intend to feel? And if they're not, we have a disconnect. If you intend to feel healthy, but you're going to have hamburgers for lunch, pepperoni pizza for dinner, and drink beer and watch television after work, well, maybe you're not going to feel really healthy today. So ask yourself if the things you intend to do today are connected in any way with the way you want to feel today. And if your intentions aren't matching up with your activities, maybe you need to change your activities and do something to help move yourself into the feeling state the way you want to feel today. Does that make sense? If you want to feel productive in your business, what do you intend to do that will make you feel productive? I'm going to write a blog post. Okay, that's a good idea. That'll help you feel productive. I'm going to clean the garage. Well, wait a minute. Maybe that's not going to help you feel productive for your business. So the third part is to let go of the things you can't do for yourself. What are you willing to let God or the universe or the law of attraction do? So there are things that are out of your control. You can say, I intend to feel productive. I am going to write a sales letter. Great. I intend to feel productive. I'm going to get 5 new customers today. Well, wait a minute. That's not completely in your control. You can write the sales letter, but you can't force the customers to buy anything. So what is it that you need help with? And turn it over to the universe and let the universe help you. And of course, these have to be realistic things. I intend to earn $1 million today might not be realistic. But there are things that you have control of and things that you require the cooperation of the universe to accomplish. So once again, intending your day is go back, previous. Let's just go back real quick. Intend your day. At the beginning of each day, ask yourself, how do you intend to feel today? And this is a feeling word. Then list the things you intend to accomplish today and ask yourself, do the things you intend to accomplish match the way you intend to feel? And if they don't, then maybe you need to rethink what you intend to accomplish. I wouldn't rethink the way you intend to feel. Rethink your activities. And the third part is, what am I willing to let God or the universe or law of attraction help me with, because I can't do it all by myself? What do I need help with? That's intending your day. That's the early part of the day. And now, core skill number 5, at the end of the day, close your day. And this, of all the things we do, this will give you real peace when you go to bed at night. Today I liked. What did you like about yourself today? What did you do today that worked for you? Today I liked that I intended to feel accomplished and write a sales letter. And by gosh, I got the letter written and it was a good one. I got my blog post published and I liked that. What did you do that you liked about yourself? Name at least one thing that you liked about yourself. And if you didn't get anything done today, maybe the desire to improve your life is an okay thing to say. I like about me, I intend to improve my life, and tomorrow I intend to do a better job than I did today. And it's okay to forgive yourself and move on. So it's important to close out your day. The next thing is the giving part. Name 5 people that you liked something about today. Even, and maybe especially if it's someone you have a conflict with. You had an argument with your spouse and you're still feeling some anger. Your spouse gets named in this equation. What is something that you like about your spouse? And maybe I could even suggest that it would be a good time to go tell your spouse what you like, so that you can both forgive and forget the argument and move on. Emotional maturity is finding something you like about someone you're in conflict with and forgiving them, and finding something you like about them. You may not like the way they acted. You may not like the thing they did, but find something that you like about them. You like their determination. You like their spirit, whatever it is. And you see, as you restructure how you see yourself and how you see the world around you, you will find more peace and happiness in your life. And that's what we're doing, is restructuring how you see yourself and how you see your world. We're building self-respect. These are the building blocks of self-respect. They're the building blocks of your commitment to make your life better. And when you screw up, you got to learn to laugh, accept it, still love yourself, screw ups, warts and all, and move on. And not beat yourself up for the mistakes, because the only person who doesn't make mistakes is in the cemetery, and he's not the caretaker. Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we become the person we want to become. We feel our way to success. So now let me take this full circle and put a Band-Aid or put a bow on it. Circling back to our daily worksheets, we've been telling you now for 40 days before you get out of bed in the morning, express gratitude. Who are you grateful for? Set your intentions for the day. Really, your intentions should have been set the night before. If you've done this, the best way, the most efficient way, is to set your intentions the night before. We've suggested you take 5 deep breaths. Why? Because that calms your mind. It lets you think, smile, and forgive yourself for anything that you're not happy about yesterday, and now move on with your intentions for the day. And our daily worksheet before we go to bed at night, we acknowledge our successes. List at least 5 successes you felt today, and list who are you grateful for today. And then we continue to suggest that you review and visualize your goals and your long-term objectives, so that you go to bed at night with that in your mind, and then set your intentions for tomorrow. What do I intend to accomplish tomorrow that will move me closer to my goal? And forgive yourself for anything you did wrong. And now have a peaceful, restful sleep. You deserve it. You are awesome. I believe in you. You are a winner. You are enough. Can you close your eyes and assimilate those thoughts? You are a winner. You are enough. Yes, it is, Ellen, but it's not impossible. You're right. You're absolutely right. But we're here to help you. We're here to hold your hand as much as possible. We're here to guide you. Bob?
I like to be reminded of something that Jim Rohn said. And Jim Rohn talks, he was like probably one of the most common sense personal development people that I've ever met. No hype, just common sense, old time advice. And he said, being successful is easy. There's all sorts of information out there that will show you exactly how to do it. Just like this webinar here tonight, showing you exactly how you can learn how to receive, how you can love yourself. It's easy. That information is there. He said, but why don't people do it? Why don't more people do it? He said, because it's just as easy not to do it.
Yes.
It's easy to do it, but just as easy not to do it. And so we default to something that's not easy. We don't make it as important to us. We don't think, maybe like you said, maybe we don't feel that we deserve that. And that's why this skill that you spoke about tonight is the most important one, because if you don't think you're worth it, if you don't think you're worthy, you never will. You just, because you just say, I don't deserve that, I can't have that, and I'm not worth it. So until you get this, and what I would recommend is just decide that you're going to, and then whatever it takes to develop that. It might take you a year, it might take you 3 years, but you know what? A year is going to go by anyways. 3 years are going to go by anyways. So just continue to pour into yourself. Continue, just fill your mind with positive stuff. I mean, YouTube is free. There's everything that you want to learn it's there. It's free. The library. If you can't buy a book, go to the library. There's so much stuff that you can put in, and hang around with people who are going to empower you. Go to attend webinars like this. Go to any place where people are going to empower you or help to inspire you to do that. It's there. But yeah, it's easy not to do it. You can sit in front of the TV, get the remote control, and watch whatever happens to be on. But so it's a choice that we make.
It is a choice. And one of the most interesting books on this, it's not necessarily a mindset book, but it is Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge, because that book is full of it's easy to do, it's easy not to do.
Right.
It's how people go through their whole life. You know, we're gonna wrap up in the next minute or two, everybody. Unless you want to keep going. I mean, I'm happy. We'll stay all night. But in hospice, one of the most common sentiment expressed by people who are in hospice, people who are terminally ill and have very little time left, is that they didn't do the things they wanted to do because they were afraid, because it was easy not to do. It was also easy to do. You're right, Bob. And you and I read a lot of Wayne Dyer. I strongly recommend Wayne Dyer for anyone who's, I got anybody if anybody has any questions about how to improve in any of these areas, just ask either me or Bob, because we got lots of suggestions. We've got lots of books. I've got tons of books and places that I can point you to help. This does take time.
There's so many great books, so many great CDs, tapes, programs, videos. There's so much that's out there. It's all over the place.
Which Wayne Dyer? Well, I assume that means which book. And yes, turning off the TV is a really good thing to do. I have strongly suggested for years that people throw their TVs away, or at least turn off the news, for God's sake. I have a TV, but it's not hooked to anything except my DVD player. I watch movies. And by the way, just to show you how dichotomous I can be, one of my most favorite recent movies is Jurassic World. Great movie. But by Wayne Dyer, Ellen, do you mean which Wayne Dyer book? Or I assume you mean which Wayne Dyer book? He's got over 40 books.
Any of them, any of his books would be good enough.
I'll tell you what, hang on. Just entertain everybody for a minute, Bob.
I know the one you're gonna get, because I have it right here as well. This is a book that he's gonna go get, I believe. I can see clearly now.
Yes, that's one of the ones I was gonna get. And the reason I love this book is because it's a collection of short stories, all of which are taken from Wayne's life. but every story is like 3 or 4 pages long. So it's really easy to pick up the book and just read a little short story. The other book that and this is deep, this is heavy stuff, but Dr. Wayne Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao. And I know that this is a book that you love, Bob.
Yeah, I've actually posted several days the lessons of the Tao before myself.
Right.
A couple years ago, I did the whole I think it was in 144 verses, whatever it is.
Yeah. This is deep. This is really deep.
And they're simple. It's just a drawing, just like 1 page long.
Yeah. Every lesson, you can do a lesson a day.
A lesson a day. It's like 1 page. Sometimes 3 or 4. Sometimes 3 or 4 lines, and that's it. That's this was written a couple thousand years, like 1,000 years before Christ was born. That's how the wisdom is. It's a very, very old wisdom.
Yeah.
And then he just talks about it for like maybe 1 or 2 pages about his take on that particular lesson.
Interesting thing about this book is that it took him a year to write it. Every lesson he spent 4 to 5 days. He read the lesson and then he thought about it and worked on it and contemplated it and meditated. And anyhow, interesting book.
There's even a PBS special on him talking about that book if you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah. And then you also have the Erroneous Zones.
Yeah, I've got 2 copies of that still. That was his first book that came out back in like 1977, I believe it was. Yeah, that's yeah.
And that's not a book I've read, so I can't recommend it.
Okay, well, when you come here, I'll let you read it if you want.
I was thinking I was going to borrow your copy of it.
Yeah, I think I have 2 of them, so you can even have one. But yeah, I mean, he's changed so much. When he first came out with the Erroneous Zones, if you notice his picture, because Wayne Dyer was going bald, and on the cover of his picture, his cut off like right here. You don't see top of his head because he was embarrassed at that point about his hair, about going bald, because he was young. He was only probably maybe in his 30s or something like that when he wrote that book. So he was still like real vain, and had his ego was very big. Even though the book was a great book, but he wasn't where he was at like right before he passed away. He was such a great spiritual leader. I used to listen to him every Monday, Len, on Hay House Radio from 1 o'clock into 2 o'clock every Monday. I miss him dearly. He was a great teacher for me.
In one of the chapters of I Can See Clearly Now, he wrote, I couldn't find this quote right now if my life depended on it, but he wrote something in one of those chapters that he thought about when he was a young man. He made a comment about living to 75. And it almost sounded to me like he actually programmed himself.
Interesting. Wow.
I gotta go back and find that comment.
Wow.
It's like, and he was a firm believer in the mind-body connection. And he's got this amazing history of curing himself from leukemia.
Right.
And the doctors were amazed. There's no sign of leukemia, yet he was diagnosed with it. He had it.
Right.
It's gone. And he didn't do any conventional medicine. So he was a pretty interesting guy. Anyhow, of course, anybody who's not interested in what we're saying can leave too, so it's all right. But I don't know. I think we're about wrapped up. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, I think unless I don't see any questions in the group there, so I think we're ready to wrap it up. It's an hour.
Okay. So unless there's anything else, going once, going twice. And Ellen, if you're still there and you can hear me, I intended to get in touch with you tomorrow. Sorry, the last couple of days have been, between the power failure earlier this week and a couple other things, life has been a little hectic, but you'll get a message from me, and let's chat. So having said that, I'm going to hit stop broadcast. Good night, everybody. Thank you for attending. The replay link will be up in the group sometime later this evening. We're tomorrow morning at the latest. Bye for now.